Hey guys, this video is just going to demonstrate some of the simple geometric shapes that you can make with nothing more than the line tool and constraints. So I'm going to be using the desktop version of Fusion here. I'm just going to start a new sketch. One question I've been getting a lot of is using the web-based version, how can you create a polygon? Now, some of our more advanced programs will create polygons as one of the stock objects you can do, but it's really not hard to do with just lines and constraints. So let's say, for example, I wanted a hexagon. I can apply these same principles to a pentagon or any other polygon, but let's just say I'm going for 6 sides. So I just roughly sketched out a closed 6-sided object. Obviously, this is not a perfect object. There are different lengths to these different sides, and the computer even put in some constraints here: a parallel and a horizontal. I can actually leave that, assuming that I want the top and bottom flat with the horizontal axis. But if I don't, I can easily just erase that and turn it any way I want. But I'm just going to leave it for now. The first thing I want to do is use my equals constraint and just make all these lines the same. If I just kind of go around the whole object and I just make all these lines equal, that is kind of the first step. So now I have equals on all these sides. So it's a little bit better now in that it retains somewhat of a shape, but I can still move and bend. It still lacks structure. And I'm going to solve that by using my line tool. And this time I'm going to select construction lines. Now on the web-based version, your option to make construction lines is to right click it, and then there will be a little toggle for construction, which you can turn off and on. The construction is essentially just a toggle switch between standard lines and construction lines. The reason we use construction lines is they can hold things together, but they won't affect any 3D features. So when I go to extrude this, the computer will ignore these construction lines as far as the shape of the extrusion, but they're still holding it together, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to continue putting these construction lines between the center point I had just arbitrarily created and the points of the polygon. I'm going to put one to each point. Now those should all be coincident, but I'll find out real quick if they're not. And then I'm going to grab my constraint tool and do the same thing. I'm going to make all these equal to each other, because that really will tie the polygon together. And as you can see, it looks pretty darn good right now, and I'll just try and get that last one in there, if it lets me. Okay, over constrained. So as you can see, when I put that last equals constraint in there, it's snapped together. And now if I really want to double check this, I'm pretty certain it's equal, but I can easily double check a couple lines and just see if they are indeed the same. So that was 0.572, and I bet this will be the same, 0.572. So at this point, if I want to double check if this is solid, I can just kind of grab it and move it around. Oh. I didn't define any of the sides, that's why it got smaller, but I'm just going to do that right now. 0.572. So now it won't be able to get larger or smaller. And as you can see, no matter where I grab it, it doesn't fall apart. This is a solid object. The only thing I would have to do to make this technically fully constrained would be to tie this on the workspace somewhere. Oh, that fell apart. Tie this on the workspace. And probably the easiest way to do that would be to use our origin point right here, 0, 0. So I bet if I do this, it will be fully constrained after that, which, yep, everything turned black, which we can see on the desktop program, and I got my little lock there. Unfortunately, the web-based version does not give us that additional information, so you really have to use the click and pull and drag type of thing. So that is how you can create a polygon. And that will also allow you to easily turn a polygon into a star, right? Because I can take these lines and just put some point. I can take the internal structure and just put some points on it, make those equal, do that on, say, 5 sides of a pentagon, and I've got myself a star. So that's a quick and dirty how to do it.